Okay, good to see you. It's Kitty Anderson again. I'm a board certified menopause coach, and I am going to answer your question today about functional medicine. This is kind of another subset of medicine that is not covered by insurance typically. So often these are MDs, so people who are from conventional medicine who really want to personalize medicine more and they want to work on nutrition, movement, sleep, stress, all the types of things that I coach on and that many will coach on. So basically, when someone asks me, should I go see a functional medicine provider? I will say it depends. And I know that sounds really crazy, but let me explain a little bit about why that matters. So, if you are a person who can do a diet experiment by yourself and you start to understand a little bit of the science, you don't have to understand much. But if you can go ahead and try a nutrient dense anti inflammatory diet like the autoimmune protocol, it will be your biggest investment in your health because it increases nutrients and decreases inflammatory foods, which decrease your ability to absorb nutrients. So, what you're doing is trying to get that intestines to the point where it will absorb high nutrient foods. And then you avoid all the nutrient related food reactions, nutrient related diseases, right? So anything, what you don't see behind all these disease names is that many are related to low nutrients. So now that we are menopausal and our hormones are getting towards the bottom, even with HRT, our hormones are still at 1/5 of the normal um, premenopausal hormones. So the gates to the nutrients are really small. Those gates are small. You cannot get those nutrients inside your body without really high dose HRT. But even then, it's not enough. So, to have your body in balance and optimize your body, you're going to have to experiment with diet. And there's two kinds of people. There's people that are ready to experiment with diet, and they're just like flip over, do the experiment, get a coach. There's 500 AIP coaches. Get a coach, get someone to help guide you through, set some goals, some milestones, and get you through that experiment. It takes 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, nothing. In the long history of your life, this is nothing. So you're going to feel the results once you get 100% on the diet. And I've had clients do the diet all by themselves with me. And in 11 days, on 100% of the diet, they are feeling results. They are seeing decreased symptoms of depression, decreased symptoms of digestive problems, decreased pain, also losing weight. I mean, it's an everything diet. I'm sorry. It just ramps up the nutrients and takes out all the foods that are likely to be a problem. So if you're the kind of person that can act on that on your own, you're going to get 50% of the result that you would get with a functional medicine provider, right? So no matter what, they're going to have you do a diet, right? So you can save $1,000 just by doing it yourself. So that's up to you. If you're the kind of person that needs everything on paper and then you need to have a test first that tells you you need to do a diet and you need this and you need that and you need this and you need to be pushed into it, then go to functional medicine. They will set you on a path. They will understand what your issues are. And the kind of nice thing, if you haven't gone to counseling during this time, is that they do consider your stress, consider your trauma. If you have personal trauma, they are willing to fold that into your plan and help make you work your way to success. Now, I will say that I take a functional medicine type of approach in that I'm holistic. I'm looking at everything just like they look at everything. What I don't do is heavy, heavy testing. I do not give you a lot of pieces of paper that tell you you have to take a diet. No, I'm not going to do that. You are smart. You know that nutrients matter. You fed your kids. You've fed yourself all this time. What you're not aware of is that the rules have changed. You're in a new place on the map and you need a better diet. It just won't work. The next 40 years will not work with a low nutrient diet. So it depends on what kind of person you are, and it depends on where you are in your journey. Have you felt enough pain to move quickly? Some people do. Some people are like, I've had it. This is not the life I want to live. You know, the question that I ask, what are the three best reasons for you to make change moving towards wellness right now? Answer that question. That's your motivation. That's why you're on the planet. When you think about those three things, might be your family, might be your friends, might be your job. You're missing out on things. So you have things in your life that are driving you towards change. Write those down. Harness that energy. Tap into that. That is something that's so critical. And in fact, this is what a coach does. And most functional medicine providers, good ones, will have a coach on staff to help you with those questions, to help you with the emotional needs of change, of habit change. We break everything down with you and your life in mind. So, a functional medicine provider is very likely to have a coach on staff. If they do not, this is a very small operation and it may not provide you with the results that you need. The other thing I would say is make sure that they are an MD or a nurse practitioner. Make sure that they dispense hormones. They dispense prescriptions for hormones because you've seen my other videos, and there are some functional medicine providers that do not. I will also add this last layer of detail is that I went to the Advanced Practice Hormone module written by the Institute for Functional Medicine. I was in the training, and they do not talk about dose. So this is a hazard for those of us that need a high dose to feel well, right? We need access to high dose products. And I don't know what they're going to do. Every single functional medicine provider is doing a different thing. I can tell from the training that they do not have guidance for when they train someone, they do not have guidance on dosing. So this may not turn out to be as good as an OBGYN who's willing to let you experiment with high doses, right? So it's really the doctor that's willing to get you to optimize your dose. And I just didn't see any evidence in that functional medicine training that said they were encouraging optimization. On the plus side, they do evaluate some of your genetics, which is never done by an OBGYN. And where genetics drives things, they will get you supplements and help identify a diet that's going to help you with those weaknesses. So, for example, a lot of people have trouble with some of the B vitamins. And so there are really high B vitamin foods, and there are also B vitamin supplements that you can take. So that's the way they solve the problem. The way I solve the problem of nutrients is I don't bother with any genetic testing. We don't have to know those things. You actually can change diet without knowing all your genetic issues. And it actually puts you in a better frame of mind is that you're going to diet in a way that makes you feel well, right? You're going to balance out all your vitamins in the diet, and then you're going to assess, how do I feel? Because that's really what matters anyway. All of this is guesstimation, guesstimation. And in fact, I want to remind you that the testing industry is a testing industry. It is a for-profit industry, and it is not in sync with the functional medicine providers. They are not driving this testing process. The testing companies are coming up with these ideas and they're selling the ideas into the doctors, and they might work some of the time, they might work 80%, 90% of the time, but they may not work for you. So the test may actually be irrelevant. I was listening this morning. So it's 2021, and we have had testing for food sensitivities in the functional medicine sphere for 20 years, right? And so I did it in 2011. And I was sensitive to everything. And they were going to come up with this big plan and lots of supplements and da 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 da. And I was like, you know what? This test can't be right because it's everything, right? So this morning I was listening to a podcast by a functional medicine provider, and he said, having reactions is a normal reaction to food. This is not clinically relevant. These tests are not clinically relevant. It's a normal reaction to food, and everyone's going to have some. And it doesn't mean you have to change your diet. But here it is, 2 decades later, because the testing companies are coming up with this stuff and they're just throwing it out there to see if somebody will buy it, right? They're all interested in buying it. So the same thing with menopausal testing. We have Dutch test, which is available a lot of times in a functional medicine environment. It certainly is not available with your OBGYN. It is not necessarily superior. It is not necessarily going to guide you to better treatment. Your symptoms will guide you to the best treatment, right? And that takes into account your genetics. Your symptoms are based on your current diet, your current genetics, your current everything, right? So we just work on symptoms. So if you want to, go ahead and write me an email at jumpstartaip@gmail.com, and I will send you a treatment table, an example of a treatment table, something that you're going to keep track of all of your treatments, and an example of a symptoms list, right? So those two things you're going to take to the doctor, to a conventional doctor, and that really optimizes your treatment. They start to see how holistically you are taking things, and they say, oh, she understands that everything impacts everything. She understands that she's changing all the diet inputs, and all those things are in her body now. So that is really changing things for her. So, and also they understand that you are motivated and ensuring your health. So you are giving up alcohol, right, for how it hurts your hormone. Your hormone status gets hurt by alcohol. You're making sure that you move every day, which makes sure that you're processing everything really well. You're having a high nutrient diet, which is keeping your weight down because the signaling to your brain is saying, I've got what I need. Don't overeat. You're using testosterone, you're using all of these testosterone, progesterone, and estradiol, as I've said in every single video. That's the core, that's the centerpiece, that's the center of all of your treatments. Always will be centerpiece of all your treatments. So send me an email and I'll send you a treatment table. You can start treating yourself as a functional medicine provider. You can take yourself down this journey. You have what it takes. But send me an email and I'll get you my initial HRT appointment guide, a symptoms list, and a treatment table. These will all help you become your own functional medicine provider. And if you need coaching, you need motivation, you need education, you want to be more effective in this project we call HRT and menopause recovery, you want to be effective, use me as an expert. I've been there 14 years of HRT, 64 years old, happily moving down my path. Happily, 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 keeping all the experiments moving all at once. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Anyway, good to see you again. Talk to you next time.